Hello, athletes. Coach Corey coming at you with some running life hacks. Some things I want to talk about, sometimes I think we just skip over. And that's the mental aspect to whether it's running, training, race day itself. I think a lot of times we'll tend to assume or fall into people that just either, oh, they have it or they don't. Or they do something where they're, have, as far as having a good run or a bad run, they decide within the first like 5 minutes, and that's going to dictate their mental aspect to the rest of the training that day. And it really shouldn't. I mean, everything can change around. So just some points I want to talk about. One, key thing about training is consistency. And I feel like a lot of us, when we have bad races, we look back and realize we were very inconsistent with our training. And part of that is you have to be honest with ourselves. So, number one thing is the grind doesn't negotiate, and neither does success. The fact of the matter is, every successful, positive race day I've ever had came from hours in the grind. I was very nervous going into LA Marathon this past St. Patrick's Day. And that morning I got a text message from my training app. And it said, congratulations on race day. You've earned this. Just in case you're feeling a little nervous, here's some stats for you. And honest to goodness, it put me at ease when I was at the start line. It told me training for the LA Marathon, I had run 88 I had 88 runs during the training block, and for a total of 467 miles. Knowing I had almost logged 500 miles, why was I stressing about 26.2? So then the race became my victory lap from the grind and the hard work that I did, and that's why I was successful. Another rule, and this is something I say to even the kids that I coach, I say this to my athletes under Queen Running Company: get comfortable being uncomfortable. If you want to succeed, it is going to come down to you understanding you're going to put yourself in an uncomfortable moment. And I say that because a lot of times we've gotten very, very lax in pushing ourselves. So the moment that we do and we get all this feedback from our body, we sort of shut down. And in the running case, we slow down because we think, oh my goodness, I can't keep this up. If during your training, if you get comfortable being uncomfortable, and again, a good running coach is going to help guide you through this, then you're going to be ready to handle being uncomfortable for a long period of time, which is going to lead to PRs and PBs for yourself. Another rule is, I don't care the distance as far as what you're training for, because everyone is different. A 5K may belong to you, a 10K may belong to you, a half, a full, etc., etc. I jokingly say this tongue in cheek, but use what I call runner's math to break up the race. We've all done this as runners. We've looked at our watch and suddenly be able to figure out mass, volume, velocity, and everything else that we can't do when we're not running. Use it to break up the race. I'll pick on, because I just spoke about the LA Marathon, I'll pick on a full marathon. Nowhere in the first 1, 2, 3 miles am I going, oh man, mile two's done. I got 24.2 left, because I'd cry. I'd flat out be done. But what I'm able to do is go, okay, got this 5K done. Okay, cool. Got this 10K done. Man, I got this 10K done. I got 20 miles. I've done 2 10-mile runs before, no problem at all. Break it down like that. So, one, you're celebrating the mini awards, but two, it doesn't seem like this huge chunk. You're taking it one bite at a time. Another thing you also have to think about, again, going into the training for race day. If you don't push yourself during training, do not expect yourself to be able to push yourself during the race. In other words, if you give up during your training, don't be surprised your effort lacks during your race. Training is very important. You need to be intentional when you're doing this. Don't make all these runs junk miles. Yes, 80% of your run should be at conversation pace, but you still should be intentional when you're doing them. Pushing yourself during the strength training phase, during the speed workouts, different things like that, is why it's going to seem so easy to push yourself during race day, and you won't be scared, and you will be so pleasantly surprised as you were just demolishing your goals. Another thing is, find and form your own mantra. This is fun. There's two, I started this in LA, my comeback marathon. There's two that I use. I did it, a month later at the Kentucky Derby Festival full marathon. A week after that, when I had the Delta Dental 5K, and 30 minutes later had the Indy Mini half marathon. So, warning, I'm going to change the words on this because I'll try to keep this PG. One was, if you want to piss with the puppies, stay on the porch. But the big dogs want to eat, and I'm effing hungry. Would say this to myself over and over. I'm telling you, I would get hyped when I started to get tired. The other thing is, because I'm a firm believer, if you have done your training, your body is ready. It is mentally where we start to get fatigued. So I kept telling myself, your body is effing fine. Your mind is what's running the ship. Because there's times where I'd be like, oh my goodness, I think I'm getting a cramp. And I'd be like, no, you're not. You're perfectly fine. We have done this. Let's go. And it's amazing how much I would not just shake off those negative words, but I'd even pick up my pace. And I'm talking at like miles 22, 23, where I'm used to being in the pain cave. So find and form your own mantra. Never be afraid to change it. Something that is going to motivate you. Something that's going to put a little smile on your face. Something that when you say it out loud, the people around you are going to be like, dang, I got to run with them. That's what I'm saying. Last, and honestly most important, be honest and lie to yourself. And again, I like to be tongue-in-cheek here. Be honest in the fact you fully know what you're about to do is going to be difficult. Lie to yourself in the sense, and again, I'm saying it tongue-in-cheek, in the sense that you got it. You can only control you, especially when it comes to race day. Weather, number of people that are 5 wide as they're taking up the entire road that you're trying to run on, and you got to run around them. All of the things, water aid stations, you can't control that. The only thing you can control are your 2 legs and your effort. So be honest in what's about to happen, that it's going to be difficult. Lie to yourself and tell yourself you got it. And again, it's tongue-in-cheek. It's supposed to make you smile. But again, find yourself a running coach that's going to help you cultivate all of these that I talked about. So I hope that you guys understand bringing that mental game, bringing that mental A game to your race day. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Queen Running Company, empower your path.